Hi, we've got an interesting addition to our histories of the development of the Fischler School of Education. We brought together Dr. Abraham Fischler, President Emeritus, and Dr. Ross Moreton. Ross, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Ross Moreton, and it was my pleasure to serve Nova Southeastern University from 1972 through the year 2003. The first year I was a cluster coordinator over in Tampa, and the last 3 years after I retired in 2000, I was working in the master's program, in the leadership program. But in between times, Dr. John Chiliano and I served as the director of the programs for higher education that included the adult education, computing and information technology, healthcare education, higher education, and vocational technical occupational education. So we had 5 different majors, if you will, in the programs for higher ed. But that's probably more than you wanted to know, Al.
Thank you. And Dr. Fischler, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Abe Fischler. I came to be a Dean of Graduate Studies and Professor of Science Education. And in '69, I became Executive Vice President. And then from '70 to '92, I was President and went through the wars of the university until it settled down. And by the time I stepped out of that presidency, I felt that the university would be able to take care of itself. And I knew that its debt had been paid, and outside of some buildings, we owed no money. And I realized that it could go forward.
I can tell you for sure, Abe, that you're the one that was at the helm, and you did a great job avoiding all the different rocks and cliffs and everything else that we could have fallen over during that treacherous time.
Well, I think you guys were all cooperative and understood that we were in an infancy behavior pattern, and we had to learn how to get through the maze of the political environment and our educational colleagues. And you people put on 2 and sometimes 3 hats to do it. So I appreciate the support.
Well, and one of the things that comes to my mind is that when we were trying to get licensed up in New England, I think it was either Massachusetts or Connecticut, that one of the board members of that licensing group, called you the Billy Graham of education. And so you were really quite a spokesman for the field-based graduate education program.
Well, you knew I believed in it. And when Don Mitchell was able to put together the kind of staff he put together, and then you and the others did that, and Sam Humes came in and did his. I mean, no university had a staff in each of their areas like we were able to put together, because we had the country to choose from. And I believed in that.
Yeah, we all did.
That's
if we
right.
Hadn't believed in it, if we hadn't believed in it, hook, line, and sinker, we really wouldn't have survived, because that's what it took. It took perseverance and being sure that we got to the right people. In fact, one of the people that I remember that we invited to the Summer Institute, not only were some of the college presidents that were influential with some of our students, but Gordon Sweet, who was with the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. And Gordon was one of the key players for Nova, because he was the director, I think is the title, of the post-secondary division of the Southern Association.
He was, and he turned out to be a good friend. I could pick up the phone and talk to him about our problems. I lost a little confidence when he told me if I took Texas into the courts, he would have to support Texas. Otherwise, there'd be no Southern Association without North Carolina and Texas. So I did that.
Yeah.
I didn't fight being place bound in Texas.
No, that's true. No, that was the thing. We knew when we had to compromise certain things, and it wasn't a compromise of our integrity. It was just simply a compromise to move other things forward, and we had to do that.
He warned me, and I didn't do it, and we remained friends.
Yeah. Well, one of the things Gordon did to me was that I was bringing him a bottle of scotch at one of the summer institutes, and I knocked on his door, and he answered, and when he saw the scotch and me, he decided to let me in. And he asked me on the way over to the parlor part of that room. He said, "What do you think about the president of Nova Southeastern University? What do you think about him?" And I said, "Abe Fischler." I said, "Oh, he's a great guy. He's really down to earth and a great leader." And just about that time, I walked past one of those high back chairs, and there you sat, right there. And Gordon just laughed, and he said, "I almost got you, didn't I? I almost got you." And I told him right there, I said, "I would have said the same thing if I'd known he was sitting there as I did when I didn't know he was sitting there." And so he just laughed.
The only one who I think left troubled was Don Mitchell. When I had to use money out of his program to help support the growth of the institution, he never liked that.
No.
And when he left, he was a little angry. He was one of the few that left somewhat hurt.
Well, that's all right. Don. Yeah, I understand his anger, but still, he was a good one and a great leader of that program for many years. Yeah.
Oh, he believed in what he was doing.
Oh, absolutely.
He just didn't like when I used his money.
Yeah. Well, but you had to use somebody's money because there wasn't any growing on trees around there anywhere. We didn't have any multi-million-dollar donations coming in too often there. Except
Alex Shore.
Yeah, that was the one.
And nobody liked him.
No, but he got along with people. But you're right. He had his ways about things.
Well, I know I liked him because he ended up sharing some money with us to get the doctorate in computer ed going with all the marketing. I think he gave us about $10,000.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
How about any other interesting little incidents you all can remember from the past?
Well, one of the things that I remember was about Dick Goldman, Al. Dick Goldman, of course, at this point was the dean of the Center for the Advancement of Education, which included all of the post-secondary education programs that were in the Fischler Center, and which the program for higher education was one. And Dick always told the same story at my summer institute. And he did a lot of other things. He talked about the university, he talked about the good things that were going on with the program and with the center. But he always left with this little story, and he would say, "Now, folks, somebody out there is going to ask me if the programs for higher education is my favorite program and is at the very best in the center. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell my children when they ask me a similar question. And when they ask me that question, they say, 'Dad, I'm your favorite child, right?' And I say, 'Absolutely, you're my favorite child.' And then the next one comes to me and says, 'Dad, I'm your favorite child, right?' And I'd say to that child, 'Yes, you're my favorite child.' So I'm telling you, if you ask me if the programs for higher education is the very best, since I'm here talking to you about it, yes, it's the very best. Now,
he was a built-in politician.
Yeah.
Even with the creation of his elementary and secondary school.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Dick was a good one. John was a good one. Abe, you're a good one. That's some of the finest leadership that I've ever been part of. I'll tell you that right now.
And that sounds like a good point to end on. Thank you both very much.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be part of the celebration.
Send my regards to your dear wife.
Thank you. And same to you, Abe. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye.